Today we're going to talk about reflective listening and how it applies to leadership in business. Let's go over some facts about listening. How much time do people actually spend listening? People on average spend about 70 to 80% of their day communicating, and about only 55% of the time is devoted to listening. A person's average speaking rate is about 125 to 175 words per minute. But how many words do we actually listen to? The average number a person can listen to in a minute is about 450 words. How much of what we hear is actually absorbed? Usually, people only remember about 17 to 25% of the things that they listen to. How important are the words that you're actually listening? Words convey only actually about 7% of what you're actually trying to say. The rest, 93%, is done through facial expressions and tone of voice. What is reflective listening? Reflective listening is actively absorbing the information given to you by a speaker, showing that you're listening and you're interested, while also providing feedback to the speaker, showing that what they've said was received. Effective listeners also show speakers that they have been heard and understood. You might also hear reflective listening as effective listening, empathetic listening, or active listening. These all mean the same thing when it comes to really focusing on the other person and what they're trying to say. Why is reflective listening important? To a large degree, effective leadership is reflective listening. How are you going to improve relationships with your employees, coworkers, and clients when you're not actually listening to them tell you what they need? Effective listening is a way of showing concern for subordinates that fosters cohesive bonds, commitment, and trust. Effective listening tends to reduce the frequency of interpersonal conflicts and increases the likelihood that when conflicts do emerge, they'll be able to be resolved with a win-win situation. In addition, if you listen to the people you manage, you'll learn what sort of things make them tick. And when you know what makes them tick, you will be able to be more effective at motivating them. When you encourage them when they need encouraging, and you will know what kind of things they value as rewards for a job well done. Most people think they're good listeners, but in reality, they are not. And this is easy to see with a few listening games. Okay, Rosie, what does ROAST spell?
Roast.
What about COAST?
Coast.
What do you put in a toaster?
Toast, right?
No, you put bread in a toaster.
Yep.
Okay, can you say spot 5 times?
Spot, 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 spot.
What do you do at a green light?
You stop.
No, you go at a green light.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so if you take 2 apples from 3, how many do you have?
1.
No, you have 2 apples.
Oh my God. Okay.
There are a few wrong ways of listening. The most common is for the sake of responding. Imagine you're talking to a customer and they're complaining, and all you're doing in your head is just thinking about your rebuttal. You're not actually listening to them tell you what the problem is. It's like you're gathering bullet points in your head to say, this is why you're wrong and I'm right. In addition, there's also a few right ways of listening. And these would be listening for the sake of understanding, not interrupting, and not justifying your reasoning. What are the benefits of reflective listening in leadership? Leaders must be able to listen to their team and make them feel like their contributions are accepted and validated. The most skilled communicators match their responses to the situation. In discussions with the people you manage, it helps to differentiate the coaching versus counseling situations. Coaching is providing advice and information or setting standards to help your employees improve their skills. Counseling is helping subordinates recognize and improve and address their problems. A common mismatch of response types occurs when the listener offers coaching when counseling is more appropriate. With counseling, reflecting and probing are more appropriate responses than advising and deflecting. How do we start practicing this? There's 4 ways. First, nonverbal communication. And to do that, we want to put our devices away, make eye contact, orient our body posture towards the other person and open, and looking and noticing their body posture and how they're reacting visually, whether they look nervous, whether they're frustrated, and how open their body posture is. The second way to do this is through verbal communication, and you can do this by asking good open-ended questions. You want to let the person finish speaking before you respond. You also can do this by taking effective pauses and by giving minimal encouragers, which are things like, I see. And this lets them know that you're still listening to them while they're talking. Third is respond to what was being said. You can do this with mirroring, which is responding with the last few words that they said to you. Label, which is naming people's feelings, such as anger, frustration, confusion. This lets them know you observed and recognized their feelings. Next, you can do this by paraphrasing, and you want to do this in your own words, not theirs. And lastly, you want to summarize, and this combines labeling and paraphrasing, and the key words that you want to hear back is "that's right," and that lets you know you've perfectly understood what they were trying to say to you. Fourth is about keeping the focus on them and letting them talk. Try to resist interrupting and changing the subject. This is all about them, not you. A simple technique for reflective listening is the AABB technique. And to do this, partner A speaks first while partner B listens. Before partner B responds with their own thoughts, they must first reflect to A what was said, taking the time to validate and process their statement. This process allows partner A to truly feel heard and ensures that partner B is responding to what was said. Here's an example of communication without effective listening.
Hey Scott, you busy?
No, not right now. Sit down. What can I do for you?
Yeah, I just feel like my supervisor is constantly kind of breathing down my neck.
Breathing down your neck? How so?
Yeah, I just feel like whenever I complete work, he's just breathing down my neck, and I just don't feel like he's trusting me to complete my work.
What's he doing that suggests he's not trusting you?
I don't know, he's just like looking over my shoulder, just watching me do stuff that I feel like I know already how to do, and if I tell him that, he'll get kind of irritated at me.
Okay, well, I mean, your supervisor's job is to monitor your work, make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and make sure you're up to standards. So I'm not really sure what the issue is there.
Yeah, I just feel like if he keeps checking over my work, that I won't be considered for future promotions.
For promotion? You're pretty new here, aren't you? How long have you worked for us?
Like 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months. Yeah, you're still pretty new here. If I were you, I would just keep my head down and do your work. Trust that if the supervisor's not saying anything, that nothing's wrong, and it's a little early for you to think about promotions, so, just focus on getting the work done and trust that in time promotions will come.
Yeah, okay, I guess I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm glad I could help you.
Oh, yeah.
Here's the same example utilizing the AABB technique.
Scott, you busy?
No, not right now. Sit down. How can I help you today?
Yeah, I just feel like my supervisor's been breathing down my neck a lot recently.
You feel like your supervisor's breathing down your neck? How so?
Yeah, just he's been kind of helicoptering me, double checking my work, stuff like with that nature.
Oh, okay. So you feel like your supervisor's standing behind you, checking over your work, and it's making you uncomfortable?
Yeah, I just feel like I'm not being trusted to do the work well on my own, and I feel like it's going to hinder my ability for future promotions with the company.
Okay, I can understand that. And it sounds like advancement is important to you, and you want to feel like you're trusted by your supervisors. Can I ask you how long you've worked for us?
About 6 months.
Okay. So, while you're probably starting to get the hang of things, we would still consider you a fairly new employee, and we do ask our supervisors to keep an eye on folks and just make sure that they're fitting in and performing up to our standards. I can understand, though, that that might make you feel uncomfortable and like you're not trusted. I also want to assure you that we keep an eye on all of our employees and make sure that they have the opportunities they want to advance if that's important to them.
The goal of this reflective AABB listening technique is to leave the conversation feeling like you've both had a successful resolution. When you take time to show that you're really willing to learn and listen and consider your partner's point of view, rather than just trying to win at all costs, it builds strong bridges for mutual understanding. So in conclusion, almost everyone believes that they're a good, effective listener. Consequently, very few people think that they need to develop the listening skills. But in fact, listening effectively is something very few of us do. It's not because effective listening is so difficult, it's just because we haven't had time to develop our listening skills the way we should. Research has found that by listening effectively, you will get more information from the people you manage, you will increase your trust in others, you will reduce conflict, you will better understand how to motivate others, and you will inspire a higher level of commitment from your employees.